It's time for Damn Good Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Claymore. From corporate executive to CEO to entrepreneur and the founder of Damn Good Marketing Live, this podcast is all about digital marketing, building a business you love, and creating a brand that's authentic to who you are. So if you're ready for honest, raw marketing conversations that you will not find anywhere else, let's freaking get it. Oh my gosh, guys, welcome back. We have someone that actually I met in real life by accident. In 2023, we met at Keisha's Empower Her live event in Denver, Colorado. And I randomly just sat by you and I was like, hey, girl. And then she like grabbed a microphone and stood up and started like, I think you asked a question or said something. I don't know. I was like, dang, this woman is awesome. So we have her on the podcast today. Jamie, thank you so much for being here. Can you give everyone a little lowdown of who you are, what do you do, and like why I'm so freaking pumped to have this conversation with you today?
Oh, Shelby, thank you so much. I love your energy. I just immediately connected with you, Empower Her. So I'm like, I need to be in her world, stay in here. So I shot my shot and I got on the podcast.
Good.
I'm like standing up again with a microphone at home, but you know.
Yes.
So I am a former critical care nurse. I really traded in my scrubs and delivering like life-saving medications, procedures. For now, really empowering powerhouse women like the one in your audience, like you, to really be the heroes on their own health journey. And
Yeah.
entrepreneurship really is a wild ride, right? It's a personal development journey in disguise. It takes a lot out of us. We have this passion, but sometimes we sacrifice that or we sacrifice ourselves. It leads to burnout. And so I want to, change the conversation around health and building a legendary impact with legendary health. Like making
Oh.
your energy your edge because it truly is what's going to help you sustain your mission long term.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool because truly, I mean, you know my journey. I've shared it with you before and I've obviously shared it with the world now. But if you don't get in control of like your health and what you do and how you move and function in life, like you will not be successful in entrepreneurship because in true reality, like I did it and I wasn't in control of my health. I always thought in my brain I was like a health person. Looking back now, I'm like, you aren't healthy. And like always thought I was a health person until Hashimoto's, where literally I truly think it was God. Like, you got to slow down. You have to understand your body. You have to understand what works and what doesn't work. You have to understand all the little ins and outs. Like, I thought HIIT was good for me. I thought I could eat gluten. I thought I could do all these things, but it's just so wild. So if someone, we're going to jump right in this. So if someone was doing like entrepreneurship and they're like, Shelby, or I'm sure Jamie, you've heard this excuse because I hear it all the time. Like, when I'm not as busy, I will take it seriously. Or when I'm not as busy, I'm going to come work out with you. Or when I'm not as busy, I'm going to hire you to help me with my health. What is your advice in that excuse of a sentence or a statement? Whenever you hear that, you're probably a lot nicer than me, but like whenever you hear that, what do you tell women?
Yeah, I think what you just said in your story was like you had these whispers, right? We choose to ignore them. We power
Yeah.
through. We're like high achieving. I can handle my health later. I've got this mission to power through. And how do I get women to listen to those whispers before they become a roar, before
Yeah.
ends up in your body, right? And so we power through all this stress, but I think people forget that stress doesn't just like stay in our mind, like our constant to-do list, our tasks we have to do, the big launch we have to plan for, the stage we're getting on. It
Yes.
actually moves into our biology, right? And so stress it increases our stress hormones, it increases inflammation causes disease. So if we're not listening to those little whispers that we're getting low energy, maybe like stubborn weight gain, maybe you're chasing your energy with caffeine like I was at one point and just
Oh boy, make
feeling
me. Yeah.
right. Like I still love coffee, so that
Okay,
is
I was about to say, oh, let me go dump this out really quick. I'm
no,
kidding.
but these little whispers in your body of like, oh gosh, how can we start to listen to them before they become a roar, before it becomes disease in our body?
Yeah.
And I'm here to change that conversation. That metabolic and holistic health just isn't about like when you get to that like end weight where you are like, oh gosh, I need to lose the weight, or you get to that health diagnosis. It is keeping you healthy so that you can have that legendary impact, because that
Yes.
requires longevity, right? You know that
Yeah.
you've got to stay in the game, you've got that consistency, you've got to keep showing up for your mission. How are
Yeah.
you going to do that without a foundation of health, without a foundation of energy? And
Yes.
so I try to get to women before they get to that point.
Yeah, and I think gosh, I wish I would have, like, listened to you sooner. I met her in 2023, and then I was diagnosed in 24, and I'm just gonna say it was too late for me to help me, whatever. We're gonna say we're here now. We're in the same orbit. Can you share with us, like, your deep, like, why and, like, what happened to you in order to for you to, like, feel so freaking passionate about this, and, like, this is what you live because, like, y'all, if you don't follow her on Instagram, first off, pause, go do it because, like, you even have your children
Mhm.
eating what you eat, which I mean, Willie only eats red beans. Like, if y'all follow me, you know this. And so I need you to tell us all the things. So first off, let's start with your why. And obviously it goes deep down in you because now your children do it. So I guess like let's lean into that really quick.
Yeah, when we began this journey, we decided we were gonna do it as a family, so it always started that way, but my why actually started long before that. It started at the bedside, and there are these moments that change your life forever, right? And I'll never forget the sound of alarms, the chaos of the trauma bay, and the look on my colleagues' faces when we realized it was one of our own in front of our eyes. And the trauma surgeon, the resident, had cracked his chest open. They were massaging his heart. I was putting an IV and like infusing blood products as fast as I could. And just 2 hours before, this same firefighter that was now in front of our eyes fighting for his life was saving another. He brought me a patient in cardiac arrest. We got him to the cath lab where they open up the vessels in your heart and reperfuse the blood so you can get your life back. And we just
Yeah.
saved this patient. And now he was in front of my eyes, really fighting for his own. And there was a brush fire actually on the side of the road, and the fire in the engine had responded. He was putting his boots on the back, and in the chaos of it all, the engine driver accidentally pinned him between the two, and he was there that day, face completely white, like tears running down his face, the whole crew alongside him, like in these big fire suits, they're like sweaty and they just looked like pale. And we were doing everything we could. And we had the most skilled and sweetest trauma surgeon on that day. He's from the South. A lot of trauma surgeons are like gods and they walk on water, but he was the most collaborative, the most team player, just the sweetest Southern accent.
Yeah.
We had literally done everything. And he said, "Does anybody else have any other ideas? And if not, I want to pray." And in that moment,
Oh my god,
it's
it makes me want to cry.
our health. It's like, from that chaos, you could literally hear a pin drop in the room, right? In the presence of whatever you believe, universe, spirit, God was there that day, really holding us all. And that experience really shook me to my core. It made me feel, in the deepest way possible, this fragility of life. And it gave me my deepest why on my health journey. And it's really that why that carries me when the road gets hard, when I
Yeah.
give up, when I want to throw in the towel. We know this takes discipline.
Yes.
And my deepest why is because we get this one precious shot. And it really woke me to this truth that we are all walking around with this untapped potential and taking our time, our health, our energy for granted. And I'll ask you, like, what is your deepest why? When you find it, let it fuel you, let it like rise you up to this new level of health that's really going to be what carries you through life and also through your legendary impact, which I know your community is here to serve and to give. And so that really is what woke me up to, gosh, we get this one precious shot. How are you going to show up for it? And I'll be
I
dang
think
not living it fullest.
I think you just woke us all up because I almost started crying. Like I literally was like, "Oh," and I think it sucks that things like that have to happen to you, to me, to someone else to fully wake up and say, "Hey, you get one life." Like you actually are living right now when that person was doing good and he's not. And or whatever may have happened, like you don't know when you leave. Every time John leaves, I literally my anxiety lately has gotten so out of control that it's just like any little thing can happen and so when I think I'm so passionate about what I do because I'm just like truly like I have these conversations all the time like when I slow down I can do this or I'm going to eat this because I only get one life. Hell, you only get one life, so why the hell are you eating that? Like it literally makes you feel like shit. So like truly it's just like I'm passionate about it because I hear so many excuses of why they can't do XYZ or why they can't chase their dreams or someone else is already doing it. Oh my God, somebody's going to think I'm annoying or I sound cringy or whatever. Like, literally, if you are listening to this, I want you to listen to exactly what Jamie just said. You get one precious life to live. So, like, how are you actually going to live it? And if this story that she just told doesn't wake up something inside of you, then like just hang it up because, like, I don't know what will, because it's truly that life is a precious gift that we get and we don't know when it's going to be taken away from us. So, at what point are you going to say, I'm going all in? I'm going to risk this. I'm going to be like, if the worst case scenario is I fail, I have to go back to corporate, I got to go get a job somewhere, I got to do XYZ, then what the hell are you waiting on? And so I think that with your health, I think people overlook that as well. And with my father-in-law dying in November too, was just like, if I like, the man loved to eat and he wasn't the healthiest man, but he was the biggest teddy bear. And I just was like, if I lived closer and I could feed him, not that he didn't eat good, that's not a dig on him or my mother in law or anything like that. It's just like, I just want to help you live a solid, healthy life. Do I know all the things that you know? Hell no. And like, John is like, hey, can I put some seasoning on this? And I'm literally just starting to learn how to like be healthier. So it's not that good. But y'all, it's not that hard. So, like, Jamie, how have you implemented these things in you? Did y'all do this before children? Did y'all do it when you started having children? Like, when did this actually start happening in your home, of when you started changing like your habits and everything?
Yeah, so even with that wake up call, my breaking point really didn't come till I stepped into the role of this sacred role of motherhood, right? It's not just my life, it is these little humans. And I had to get it right with two. We had twins first. So we've got twin girls that are now 9. And so I got to the point where I felt exhausted no matter what I did, how much coffee I drank. I felt miserable. I was chasing my energy with caffeine. I was skipping meals. I wasn't sleeping well. I was ignoring all these whispers, like the stubborn weight gain, the like little bit of anxiety, the stress that just felt like, gosh, am I going to hold this forever? And I actually went to my primary care doctor. I'm like, can I get my labs done? Something is off. I feel miserable. Yes, I've got twin toddlers at home and a newborn, but
Yeah.
I feel miserable. Like this is not how I want to continue forward. And they're like, congratulations. Like your labs are all normal. You're a picture of health. I'm like, but I feel miserable. And
Yeah.
my husband at the time was a critical care physician and he still is, but he came home one night. He was exhausted too. We're both just like, is this life? Like, yes, motherhood, parenthood is hard and challenging, but we both just don't feel so disconnected from our bodies. We feel exhausted. And so he came home with all these research articles supporting the application of like lifestyle and nutrition for the prevention and even reversal of disease, of these chronic diseases. And
Hmm.
what we were taught in med school and nursing school was, prescribe, diagnose, treat. It was never like, hey, have you thought about your mindset? Have you thought about how you're fueling your body, like nutrition? What about your lifestyle habits? Yes, they were talked about a tiny bit, but on the critical care side, we were doing amazing, saving lives. But on the preventative side, like we're completely failing people. Like you're doing fine, your labs
Yeah.
look normal, right? But I'm struggling inside. And so we started with a shift in our nutrition, more whole, unprocessed foods, got rid of like some of the chips and like the bars in our pantry that we were like, oh, these are fine for the kids. And maybe I'll eat them even for a breakfast, right? I thought a yogurt or a protein bar and a coffee out the door was sufficient for breakfast. So we started eating more whole, nutrient dense foods and we felt amazing. Like our skin cleared up, like the weight just naturally came off, our energy came back. And that evolved to so much more. We dove into like meditation, mindset, um, lifestyle as medicine. I got certified in lifestyle medicine and plant centered nutrition. And it really took me on this journey of like, I need to step into this leadership role now of helping women really master their metabolism, owning their energy, not just their physical energy, but their mental energy, and really sustaining these results for life, like the
Yeah.
longevity of it. And so that's really when everything shifted, was the motherhood stage
Uh,
for me.
doesn't that just wake you up in general? Because you're like, whoa, now I got to keep
Yeah.
tiny humans alive. In your case, you had to keep two at once.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's so much to unpack here. So I want to, what is your advice to people when, or women? Because when I started talking about my Hashimoto's, people were like, wait, what are you doing? How do you do that? Like, because like, this is the thing. When I didn't have Hashimoto's, if I did not have Hashimoto's, I already know the easy way out. and I'm going to tell you, and maybe she's going to disagree with me, but I am too hard headed to do that. And I'm too young to do that. So, whenever I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, there's a thyroid medicine that you can take that you can still eat gluten and soy and all the things. And that's for people, unless I just educatedly don't know enough, and you can definitely chime in on this. But when I got diagnosed, I was like, holy crap, like, I'm too young for this. Like, I started crying. I was in like a mental state of like a no for like a couple weeks because I was trying to figure it out, navigate it. But I was like, I'm not getting on medicine. I was like, what is my alternative here? And my sweet doctor is absolutely freaking amazing. So if you're over here, like, go see her. But she was like, okay, if you don't want to take medicine, which your numbers aren't bad enough yet to actually take medicine, like, you can go clean as heck. And so, like, literally, she's like, but the main two things I want you to give up is gluten and soy. And I'm like, but like, I love bread. Like, I don't understand what you mean here. And then I did dairy and sugar on occasion. But when I did that, Jamie, for the first 9 weeks, like, I didn't tell anybody I had Hashimoto's except my family. And I literally just started clean eating. Myself and Jonathan and Elena did it with me. And y'all, we felt so good. So when Jamie says this, like, she's not lying, number one. But number two is this, Jamie, like, there are so many women in my DMs that are like, I feel like crap. Like, my labs come back. Like, I don't know what to do. Should I go to the doctor? Should I get labs? I don't know how you give up gluten because, like, truly, like, that's so crazy. Or even soy. I mean, I didn't even know soy was in like quite literally everything that you do. So, like, what would you tell a woman, like, if they came into your DMs, because I know they probably do a lot, and they say, Jamie, I feel like crap. Like, what would you say to them right in that moment? Like, what would be your first initial response?
I think I would definitely to validate them, like,
Mhm.
make them feel seen, like, yes, I haven't been in your shoes, but I understand the feeling that you're in, and
Right.
these feelings are valid, they deserve the care, and I'm so happy that you actually found a practitioner that was willing to hear your story, that was willing to dive deeper, because not everybody realizes
Nope.
that there are practitioners out there like me, like physicians, like mid-levels, taking this holistic approach of like, what is your story? How did we get to this point? How
Yes.
can we take steps forward with your nutrition, with your mindset, your lifestyle? But I think the important thing to remember for people that are like, I don't think that's possible for me, is we're never going to rise higher than our personal story. And so your success
Yeah.
is far less about your genetics and far more about like, what are your beliefs about yourself and what are your daily habits? And so if you believe it's never going to work, it's never going to work, right? You
Yes.
believe it, you're going to create it. And so this is where I'm willing to go deeper with my clients is, what is your story? Autoimmune disease is 75% higher in women, and autoimmune disease is on the rise. It's like, I think, what's his name? The physician, Dr. Gabor Mate, who says, like, what are you not saying no to that your body's now saying no to?
Yes.
Right? You're continuing on maybe on this entrepreneurship journey of like powering through, and your body's like, no more. My immune system shut down, and that's when the autoimmune disease comes up. That's why infertility is on the rise, right? When we're in this chronic stress, I said it doesn't just stay in our mind, it moves into our biology. Our body doesn't know the difference of emails flooding our inbox, the long to-do list, and a grizzly bear attacking us, right?
Yes.
And so we have to signal safety back to our body. How do we do that? We do that through mindset. We do that through nutrition, like you found, whole food nutrition. I think people get so overwhelmed. There's so much information out there.
Yes.
Vegan, keto, what kind of diet should I choose? What movement is hit bad for me? Does it raise my cortisol? Should I be strength training? Do I need to do it this? How do we start with the basics? Just move the pendulum towards more whole, unprocessed foods without all the crap in it that's giving information to your body that's like, hey, I'm safe, I'm nourished. Giving movement to your body. If you like to walk, start walking. If you like Pilates, like start doing Pilates. Yes, there is such a benefit of strength training, right? Of like building muscle as metabolic currency and that really powering our cells. So there is like strategic steps I take my clients through, but it's very specific to you. What is your lifestyle? What do you love to do? And what are you going to be consistent with that's going to give you that longevity and help you get your health back?
Yeah. And I think, y'all, literally what she said is real. I'm not a physician, but I've learned a lot along the way of this because, like, I'm an all in kind of girl, and I'm like, I'm not taking medicine. So, like, I need to learn as much. So I came home this is gonna overwhelm you when I tell y'all this, but I've calmed down, don't worry. I literally came home, went through my entire pantry, read every label on the back of every seasoning. I threw away every plastic container we had. I was going down such rabbit holes because in the beginning, I was like, I want to reverse this. And I know in my mind, maybe eventually that I can, but I do know reality. I travel a lot, so I can't control what I actually eat. I can control a little bit of it, but I can't control like what they actually cook it with and like all those stuff. So like if I stayed home, it probably would be. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It probably would have been be more successful for me to reverse it if I didn't have such a lifestyle that was everywhere. It doesn't mean that I can't control it holistically, right?
Mhm.
Yes, Jamie.
Yeah, you just froze. Sorry. Yeah. So I think this is the trap I help clients get out of too, this all or nothing thinking of it has
Mhm.
to be this one way. And that's why I really started mindset. It's like if you're thinking, I need to remove every toxin out of my home, I need to work out 30 minutes a day, I need to eat 30 grams of protein and balance my plate and do these things. What if I am, like when it comes from I am rather than I need, I should, that's when we're separate from it or searching for it, we're separate from it, right? Like fear, lack, that is what need and should are. And so when you are like, I am somebody who nourishes my body daily, I am somebody who moves their body daily, that could look like a 30-minute strength workout. That could look
Yeah.
like a walk in between your calls. That could look very different even while you're on vacation. Because I am somebody who nourishes their body daily, because I'm somebody who moves my body daily, I let perfection go out the window and I show up for myself and my health.
Yeah, I love that because I am an all or nothing girl. And look, listen, we're recovering all or nothing girl over here. You know, I try.
Yeah,
But
same here.
literally for the first 9 weeks, not even kidding, because the only reason I know it was 9 weeks is because the plan that I got from the girl, she's like an influencer, but she has Hashimoto's too, and she sells these recipe books.
Mhm.
And so I ordered it, and the first one is 9 weeks, and we stuck to it. And it was first off, I felt amazing. But what I didn't do is this. So like all or nothing. I didn't go on a date with my husband because I was scared to go to a restaurant. I didn't touch alcohol. Not that I need alcohol or want alcohol. I was so driven on no gluten, no soy, no dairy, no sugar. Like I had zero of those things for 9 weeks, and then I fell off the rocker and I was like, "Wait, I wasn't living my life balanced enough, and I was trying to control it so much that I forgot to live my life." Now, I still, for the most part, am gluten, soy free, dairy free for the most part. And sugar, if I eat sugar, it is whole sugar. So like I will bake my cookies. Like it's anything that like I used to have a vanilla skinny vanilla latte. Like, okay, first off, that's terrible for you. So if I want to like splurge and have a vanilla latte, I do it with literally I don't say skinny and I get it with almond milk because dairy, obviously. But it's just like these little tweaks. And like I am someone, and I feel like a lot of people in my community are all or nothing girls or women that are like, I couldn't give up blah 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 blah, or I can't commit to working out 5 days a week, or I can't believe you go up at 5 a.m., or I can't da 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 da, like whatever. This is my journey, and Jamie's journey is her journey. So like whatever journey makes sense for you, and I know I can feel it in my bones. Jamie, when you went into the doctor and you're like, please help me, I feel like this can't be life, because I legit called my doctor, which I had never seen before in my life. I only knew her because we talked about marketing once. And somebody was like, you should call her. And I called her and I was like, I think I'm dying. Like there's zero other answer for this because I'm moody, irritable. I literally am so tired. And y'all, that's above all of building a business or being a mother or being a wife and being pulled in that aspect. It's knowing internally, like you will know if something is wrong. Like you will know I have to make it, whether it's an autoimmune, whether you're sick, whether you're not, and you're just not fueling your body right. You internally, us as women, we have this gift, I do believe, of intuition. And like we can't ignore it. And the fact that you're saying things like I can't, which I'm gonna start using what you just said, because I say like I need, I wish, I would. I'm like, I am a
Yes.
woman of no gluten and soy, and I nourish my body because I am making the decision to not be on medicine, whatever, whatever. And I do think I want you to go into oh my God, there's just so many things I want you to talk about. This podcast is probably all over the place. I want you to talk about mindset. Like I want to shift that a little bit because we struggle with it. I think my mindset is like way worse than it ever has been. And I would happily admit that because I know I'm not alone. But what are some things, especially in the world that we live in today, not just processed food and shit that we're putting in our body, more so of social media or comparison or imposter syndrome or like those things? What are some things that you practice or, tell your clients or just have conversations with on Instagram of like where to start and what to do? And shout out, y'all, she's the one that got me into red lighting. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. All the little biohacks, but the foundation comes first, right? And that's why the only reason I'm like, that will be beneficial for you because you've got your foundations in place. So many people want to go to the shiny objects, like, give me the quick
Mhm.
fix. I'm not your girl if you want the quick fix. I'm here for long term sustainable.
Yes, girl.
And if you want that, it does first start with like your beliefs. Like if you want to step into another level of your health and your beliefs don't line up with the version of yourself that creates that, you're going to stay stuck for a very long time. And that's why self concept, self identity, what you believe about yourself matters so much, right? Like even like old beliefs that I've let go of, I'm a perfectionist, I'm all or nothing. I don't even say I'm a recovering perfectionist anymore because it doesn't serve me showing up as the messy, imperfect human I am.
Ah.
Here's my health goals, towards my business goals, right? And so I've dropped that label. Like we all have our own stories, but we've become so disconnected from ourselves that we're kind of running on autopilot. So the first thing to do is start to tune in, start to spend time with yourself. Like we're building a whole new relationship with your body, one that's connected, one that's built on self trust, self confidence. How we build self trust is we make promises and keep them, make them small enough so you can achieve them. So you can say, hey, yes, I am who I am, say I am, because I said I'm going to do this. I'm impeccable with my word. I showed up for myself. And so many women have said, like, I'm going to do this, like, do 60-minute workouts 6 days a week, or I'm going to sign up for this crazy nutrition program, or I cut out all these things. And then they're not successful. And they've subconsciously severed the trust with themselves. And they're like, oh, I said that before. And so I'm not going to try that again. And so we start with little habits. I hate SMART goals because I think your potential is limitless. I don't like to
Yeah.
limit you to smart, achievable, realistic goals, but we have to start with small things that move the needle, that build that self-confidence and self-trust in you. That is changing from an identity level of what you believe about yourself. It's not something you do, it's who you are. And so little habits are like, how are you checking in with yourself in the morning? Hand on your heart, I love you, I'm listening. Like this is going to feel really hard if you've been like on autopilot, go go go, actually listening to your body rather than like you said, you see online they're doing it this way, this is the solution for that. What does my body need? How do we start to like be a witness to our own thoughts? What are the thoughts running through my head? Because those create feelings in our body, those drive our actions, those get us our results. So we have to start changing the narrative. And then little things like, how are we building a really balanced, nourishing breakfast? Like, how are we fueling ourselves for the day? I know I used to grab like a yogurt or a coffee and a protein bar out the door. And I'd wonder why, like an hour later, my energy was crashed. I'm reaching for something sugary, quick carb, like I have no energy. So, how can we really signal safety back to our body, give it that nourishment? How are we getting protein, fiber that's feeding our gut microbes to grow and thrive, and healthy fats that really put our hormones into balance and give us that energy? How are we balancing our plate? Like choosing foods that love us back. I love that rather than like restriction and calorie counting. Yes, you can macro count and do all those things.
Oh, that makes me
I
want to crawl
teach,
in a
I
hole.
teach a different way where you get to your results without all of that. And so, how are you checking in with yourself each morning? How are you nourishing your plates? And then maybe how are you moving your body? Movement is medicine, right? We've got to move that energy, move those emotions out of us. And so, little habits, start to commit to maybe one or two at a time at a week, and then keep that promise, build that self-trust, and then we add some more. Don't try to take on too much. I know as high achieving women, which this community is full of, we're like, just give me it all, I can take
Yeah,
it on.
like everything.
I
Just
promise you that's not going to be sustainable.
it's really not because 'cause I'm hitting a wall and, like, when I'm ready, I'll talk about all of the things that I'm dealing with currently, but, like, when just listen and take it from me and obviously Jamie too, but I always thought, like, the hustle busy culture. Now, before you come at me, I'm not saying that you should not hustle and that's still not a thing. I'm not saying that because you still have to work hard in order to build your business and your brand and to be successful. 1000%. I did that. What I'm saying is saying yes to things that don't serve you anymore. Saying yes, like no is a sentence. Like I learned that recently. I was like, oh, that hit me different. Like it's literally like no period. Like you don't have to say why. Just no.
Mhm.
And, like, I think me, one, I'm a people pleaser, so, like, every time I have to, in my mind, upset someone, I apologize a million times, or I'll just say yes because, like, I don't wanna upset anyone or all those things, where now I wanna be successful. Obviously, there's things that we're putting into place where I'm starting to feel a little bit, like, less busy and less piled, that when I do have a break in my schedule, or it is a day where I'm like, hey, what am I going to do today? Not really like, what am I going to do? But like, there's not a meeting, there's not a whatever, a task. I'm like, hey, okay, this is me. I've worked really hard to get here. And now I need to just sit in it instead of being like, hey, are you available? No, no, I'm not. Not today. Even though in my mind, I used to say yes. Actually, yes. Actually, this day I have nothing going on. And then it ends up being super stacked where then now I don't have a day off. And like, so recently, someone brought this to my attention. So I was been go, 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 go. Last year was like our largest year ever. And I'm very proud of everything we did. But we had Christmas and then we had a snowstorm in Louisiana, which is weird. Also, God telling you, chill. And like we had like multiple things where we had to slow down. We literally couldn't, we could not go anywhere. We couldn't really do anything. And I got a taste of it and I was like, oh, I like this. Oh shit. Now I have to go back to that jam-packed schedule. And then it's like that's when you hit the resistance and you're like, wait, do I even love what I do anymore? Do I even want to do this anymore? Do I even have a purpose in this anymore? And I dealt with that like not even 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, because we are coming off. If you are a high achieving woman, like she says, and like I am, then I feel like if I'm sitting still, I'm a failure. And so, like, but that's a thing that I have to work on again with mindset. So I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should hire Jamie.
I
You
love
don't know. You'd probably fire me as a client. I'm not even kidding. You'd be like, "This is a damn yo-yo. Where are we going? It's up, it's down. It's what is that movie? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Have you watched that? Please say yes."
love it. I actually recently just watched it in the
We
dentist.
do on the airplane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's like, "You're like up, you're down, you're sideways." Like, I don't know. You're like every different personality. I'm like, "Wait, that's me in real life. What do you mean?"
That's me. I love it.
I just think that women just underestimate the power of like saying no because like I feel like we have to be in a culture that we have to say yes all the time. And then their mindset because like and if you can't get in control of your mindset, it really doesn't matter what your dreams are. Correct?
So true. And the only way that we have endurance to keep going is to build something truly legendary. And so, how are you protecting? How are you cultivating your energy? How are you making your energy your edge? Like, really, longevity isn't just about like adding years to your life. It's the resilience, it's the clarity, it's the vitality to stay in the game long enough to change it, right? If you want to lead, if you want to create, if you want to make an impact, for decades to come, like your health is not just optional, it's the foundation of everything. And I think you've realized that, right? I actually heard Simon Sinek share this story. He was like, there's these two lumberjacks, and they both chop wood every day, but one of them takes an hour break every day. And the one that takes an hour break every day, he actually chops more wood than the one that powers through the whole day. And the one that powers through all day, he's like, what are you doing for an hour? And the one who takes the hour break was like, I'm sharpening my axe. And I feel like this applies to our health too, of like, how are you sharpening your axe? How are you refueling your force for good so you can show up and make the biggest impact? You know how you feel when you take an hour for yourself in the morning, move your body, check in with your mindset, hydrate, nourish your body. I mean, it doesn't have to look like this 20-step morning routine, but if you are not choosing your beliefs, if you're not nourishing your body, the world's going to choose it for you. You're going to be in reaction mode. You're going to say yes to everything. I love that you've learned the power of no, because like I said in autoimmunity, like if you are not saying no, your body is going to start saying
Yep.
no for
Yep.
you.
Yep. Yep.
Your
Yep.
symptoms, until you start to listen to them, hopefully you don't get to disease. But if you do, like you said, you can take your power back at any point. And I want women to hear that no matter where you are on your health journey, you have the choice now to take your power back and really make your energy your edge and start to say no, start to make yourself a priority. We're so easy to give to everybody else, like even your kids, right? Like, how'd you sleep? How are you? Can I get you something for breakfast? When is the last time you asked yourself that question? How'd you sleep? How are you feeling? And actually listening and giving yourself what you need.
Isn't
This
that
is a
so
gift.
crazy? Because I truly thinking this is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like you deal with this a lot. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm a first for you, okay?
No.
But when I think of that, I like it almost makes me want to cry because it's like truly like when is the last time you checked on yourself? And you don't, because like a lot of times, and a lot of I'm not a health coach. Like I health and wellness is very important to my life. It's always been, and now I'm learning how to actually do it versus what I thought I was doing. And I think when I have all these conversations with women, it's as simple as like, if you're listening to this and you've been in my DMs and you're like, how do you even make time to red light? I'm like, what do you mean? It's 5 to 15 minutes. It's when I'm running my bath water. Now, if I don't have time or I don't feel like it, and don't tell me if this is really bad for you, because then maybe I should cut this part out. But sometimes I'll just put it on my counter and I'll get in the bathtub. And literally it's just shining on my body while I'm bathing. I don't know if that's good for you or not. Jamie, is that bad?
I mean, electricity in the bathtub will kill
Oh,
you.
well, no, no, no. It's on my counter.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't fall into the bathtub, we're
Yeah.
good, but
So,
yeah.
like, I do that rarely, but, like, it's just, like, wired as women, and, like, John tells me this all the time because he's amazing. He does aggravate me, so people that are listening tell us all the time, "I'm annoyed with how in love with y'all are." I'm like, "Shut up." We do fight sometimes, but I do love him, okay? And he's great, but then he's like, "Shelby, I can help you. You just don't know how to ask me for help." Because, like,
Mm,
my thing is always like, I'll figure it out. Like, it's fine. I'm gonna figure it out, because as women, we feel like we have to do all of it. And when we don't, if you're married to someone that is willing to help you or willing to step up, then we have to allow them to. And you have to say, like, hey, I'm going to take a bath. It's gonna need 10 minutes. Hey, I'm gonna go red light. Hey, I'm gonna go freaking get a workout in. I'm gonna go walk up and down the driveway. Whatever it is. Like, when I started saying, like, it's me time. And like, my boys know that if I worked out at home, they are more than welcome to come in here, but I'm going to work out. Or, daddy keeps them out, or he knows when mom needs a minute. Because if mom doesn't have her minute, and when I finally flip that switch of like, Shelby needs a minute, and when she doesn't, then everybody knows. And so, like, you have to put yourself first. And I think women, we put ourselves on overdrive so much. And then, so we either put ourselves on overdrive and we don't stop, or there's people that are like, oh, self care, slow down, all the things. And there's no happy medium. And I think a lot of people are so scared of, like, if they do choose self care or red light or holistic, they're going to be considered woo woo. I'm telling you guys, I'm not woo woo. I mean, I do lay in the grass. I do consider myself a little woo woo now, but it's like fine. But like, it's okay to be woo woo. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to not want to have to rely on medicine. It's okay to fuel your body with good food, because no fast food restaurant, not even Chick-fil-A anymore, is good for you. It's good on occasion. She probably won't agree with me. But like, if on occasion, like, it's fine. I do allow my kids to have that still, but I still try to feed them really freaking well. And when you do that, I've seen it with my own eyes in the last year, how my mood's changed, how John's mood has changed, how my children's, well, besides Willie, has changed, because we know he only likes red beans. So I just want you to listen to this conversation. I'm so glad Jamie shot her shot, truly, because I feel like this conversation isn't had enough. And my brain is already working for you, Jamie. And if you already have these things, just tell me. But like, you need a cookbook, I'd buy it every day. I think you need to develop. See, this is me going into a rant. Okay, now we're down another rabbit hole.
yeah.
I really want you to create like a 8-week program or meals, or even like a 4-week. And it's just like whole, because this is also the thing. When I'm going through this journey, people are like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to do. And like, I always was taught, like, when you did want to be like healthy, like, just skim the outskirts of a grocery store, not down the middle, because that's where your processed foods are. Is that a thing? Right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. But like, some people are like, Shelby, what do you mean? How do you read a label? Like, my label reading now is the less ingredients, the better. Number one. Number two, even though it just says organic, read the label, because there's other crap they put in there. If it's gluten free, they still have to put xanthan gum in there, which is not good for you. Then they have all these other oils, palm oil, canola oil, all these oils that truly are not good for you anymore, that we just say, oh, that says organic, it says gluten free, like, I can eat that. No, you can't. So I think that you would do great. Not that you don't do great now, but I'd buy it, because every time she cooks or shows it, I'm like, hey, can you send me that recipe?
You send that to me.
Hey, because I did. Okay, the other day you put plantain chips, or however you say them, plantain
Mhm.
chips,
Plantain.
and I used to get them from Thrive Cart because I was like, oh, they're healthy. And I read the back, and they have palm oil in them, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna throw these away now. So I'm gonna make yours, because anyway, yes. Do you have a recipe book?
I actually created one. So we actually started vegan plant-based and
Oh,
sort of evolved to adding animal meats back in. And so that's why I say there's not really one diet for everybody. I can tell you what to eat to get the macro and micronutrients. And if you are wanting to go the vegan route, but we eat, I would say, more of like a pescatarian Mediterranean diet with fish and occasional red meat and chicken. eggs. We don't do dairy. We just feel so much better without it. And my kids have lactose intolerance. But I love what you said about just like all of the rants of like back and forth to like, we have to be a detective for our food. What do I eat? Like, tell me the how. Like, it's so confusing. And that's where I've really tried to simplify what is holistic health? What is metabolic health? And how can we simplify this into like really how do you move your body? How do you align your mindset? Because the how is not going to matter. I could teach you all of the nutrition and the movement, everything, but the who you're being, what you're believing about yourself, like I said, we're never going to keep sustaining those results if we don't address the who behind it. So I'll definitely put another cookbook in the works because I feel like I want to integrate more of like how I eat now and some of those amazing recipes. So look out for that.
I can't wait. I'll promote the crap out of it. What she does, what I found really helpful with this one, because anybody I tell, like, because my sister, I don't know if you follow her too or Harm in
I
the
do,
Past,
yeah. Home in the
because we
past.
can't be more opposite, but I love her. And I want her to make a cookbook for people that actually want to eat like she cooks. And I'm like, you know what makes the one that I have so good? She makes the grocery list for you. So you know
Yeah.
exactly what you need to get, all the things, and I'm like, "Oh, I would buy your cookbook. I would buy it because every time you cook, I'm like, those are really pretty carrots. Like, why are they so colorful? Can you tell me like how you cook?" It's just like so fascinating, and I think also, gosh, there's so much to unpack. I think also what happens is when people try to cook healthy, or they think that they're cooking healthy, or they think about cooking healthy, they think it's going to be nasty. In reality, y'all, it's not.
Yes.
It's so good, and you're like, "Ooh, I want seconds." Maybe you shouldn't, but at least if you get seconds of that, you know it's good for your body. And so, like, one thing, maybe I should hire you because wait till you hear this. Literally, the only thing I basically eat now, like, which is based like last resort, because everything I eat, eggs gives me inflammation, can't eat those. I'll eat them every once in a while, but not like I used to just be an egg girl. Like, I always had my protein in the morning, like that's what I ate. And I used to hate them, then I got on it to where I love them, and now I truly can't have them. And so now I just say, I'm going to eat protein. I don't even know the last time I had a vegetable. I have no idea because I'm just like, I just need to eat protein because I know I'm safe with the protein. And if I make the protein, we're solid with the protein. So, like, at least I'm getting my protein intake in, but I really need to diversify a lot.
Yeah, diversity is huge, and gut health is something I cover with my clients too because the health of our gut really is leads to the health of everything.
Everything.
And the number one predictor of a healthy gut microbiome is diversity. So, how many different colors, different plants, different fiber filled nutrients are you putting on your plate? So, protein is absolutely important. I think most of the women I coach are under consuming protein. And that is the most satiating macronutrient. It's going to keep you full. It's going to build that lean muscle, which is our metabolic currency. And so I love that you've got your protein. Now
You're
let's
like,
just
but eat
start
a
adding some
salad, Shelby.
calories. Let's start adding some healthy fats. Your thyroid, how are we doing thyroid supporting foods? Getting selenium from like one Brazil nut a day will give you your daily
What is
selenium.
a Brazil nut?
Look it up. It's like a bigger nut. They're brown. And so if you're not taking one a day for your thyroid, I would start. It's not something you want to overconsume, but one Brazil nut a day. How are you getting your iodine to support thyroid health? So are you eating seaweed, maybe taking a supplement? But
I
these
used to take
are
supplements. Great.
micronutrients you need in very small amounts. So you
I'm
don't want to
kidding.
overconsume these. But I teach clients like, how do you get these from whole foods first? I'm always like a food first approach, not supplements. I think there can be a time and place for supplements, but how do we get that from Whole Foods? Use food as medicine. Like I used to give medicines through IVs. Now I'm giving food as medicine and it feels so good. So yeah, let's talk about
Oh
the
my god, we need to talk because I used to be on supplements and, I did really well for 9 weeks, and,
I did well for 9 weeks.
dude, this 9 I've been really good. Obviously, this is the best shape I've ever been in my life, and I think God was like, "Enough bread. You've had enough bread for, like, 7 lifetimes, like, you're good." I will say the one thing that I do miss, though, is hamburgers, like, to actually eat a burger with, like, bread. Like, okay, I've done the meatless the bunless burgers even when I could have bread, and now I wish I had eaten more bread if I'd have known my fate. And then also just some freaking really good pizza because Kelsey really wants to learn how to make gluten-free bread, but she's stuck on it because The gluten's what keeps it together in sourdough, and then if you don't, then it's saying, like, use xanthan gum, which no. And then someone did recommend rice flour. So I'm like, if I could literally figure out just a healthy gluten-free bread, which maybe you're about to tell me that, and I'll love you forever and I'll hug you right now. But I would get it. I would be fine because like an avocado on a rice cake just doesn't do it for me, you know?
Yeah. Can you tolerate sourdough? Because it does have a lower gluten content because of the fermentation process.
So I just know that I shouldn't eat it because of the gluten that's in it. So if I'm trying to go fully gluten free, I don't know. Maybe you're going to tell me otherwise off this call, but
We can chat. Yeah.
because I'm like, I do like, okay. Anyway, if you are listening to this, y'all, first off, go follow Jamie. Second, hire her because if you are struggling with, you're tired, you're drowsy, you're irritable, you're whatever. Yes, something could be wrong with your thyroid, but that's like an extreme reach. And maybe you do need to get your blood work if you haven't had it since you've had your babies. Because a lot of you have said, well, I had my blood work when I had my babies. Well, how old are they? Like, how old are they? Your body changes. Like, when I tell y'all, October of 2023, I was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. In May of 24, I had an autoimmune disease. So, like, it can happen. Yeah, it probably was festering in my body for a little bit and it just wasn't caught. But it was due to stress. It was due to a lot of things that could have been maybe prevented. I have no idea. I'm not that brains of it, but by no means, but like I used to hate going to the doctor. I used to hate checking on myself. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I have to be there for everybody else. But if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be able to take care of anyone else. So I just want everyone that's listening to this to know, like, it's okay to take a huge step back and be like, what is wrong with me? Do I just need some sleep? Do I need to go work out? Do I need to fuel my body right? You probably need a combination of all three. And so you should call Jamie. You're welcome in advance, everyone listening to this angel that I just put into your life. Okay? Okay.
Oh, Shelby, I love you so much. And thank you for sharing your heart, your story. I think your vulnerability in sharing that with your community is so powerful. You're like, hey, I went through this. I'm on the other side of it. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. That's everybody's journey, right? You never arrive
Yeah.
anywhere. But you being able to share that is just so powerful with your community. So I honor your authenticity and your vulnerability. I always do. In everything that you do, you're such a true human that I am blessed to call a friend. But
I'm so
yeah,
glad I
thank you
sat by
for
you.
coming to my world. In 2025, I'm launching the Metaglow Collective, which is
Yes.
helping women who feel burnout, who feel frustrated with their body, feel like it's broken, are chasing their energy, having these symptoms come up, really helping them master the metabolism, own their energy, not just physical energy, but mental energy, and really sustain those results. Like, let's make your energy your edge. And yes, I do a metabolic and energy audit if you just want a one-on-one call. And then I also do really intensives, one-on-one coaching for clients who really want that deep dive, that accountability, that hand holding, that really personalized advice for them. So Shelby, it was truly an honor to be here in your world. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy I
Absolutely.
shot my shot and I got to chat with you. And you're just such a gem. So thank you.
Oh, listen, y'all, shoot your shot because you never freaking know. But hey, I'm so glad I sat by you at Keisha's event. I was like, hey, girl. It was like one of the last days, too. I think I left that day. I think. I don't think I stayed for the last day. And we just like, you're just so freaking cute. So I'm glad we're in this world together and doing entrepreneurship together and being online together and all the things. And one day I'll see you so soon, hopefully, in real life. So everybody, before you do anything next, get out of your car, turn this podcast off immediately, go follow her. We're going to put every single thing in the show notes. She'll send me the link to her signing up to her new thing, all the stuff. Like, go get in her orbit. Even if you just need to go follow her for a little bit to trust her, I'm going to tell you can trust her. But if you need to get it on your own, she's so freaking cute. And she wears Stuart and James too.
Oh,
So it's
yeah. You influenced me.
because they're so cute. Anyway, and affordable. And I wear these every day and my fingers haven't turned green yet. Anyway, I hope you guys loved this episode. If you did, I know I was all over the place, but she was very beautifully spoken and everything. I want you to like, comment, share, leave us a review. And until next time, guys, let's freaking get it. And that's a wrap on another episode of Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you comment, review, share it with a friend. Come back next week. And until next time, let's freaking get it.